Alrighty. Here we go. Hope we're rolling. Says we are. And I hope the setup is good enough. There we go. Alrighty. Today we got some mugs to put some handles on. We have some cups to carve. Some planters to polish up a bit here. These ones got a little more dry than I would have liked them to, but, you know, got to work with what we got, right? So there's that. I got some handles hardening up. They are not quite ready yet, so we're going to have to give those guys a little bit more time. I have a fan blowing in here, and I hope that's not making too much noise. But I'm just going to set these guys over here for now. And let those guys firm up a little bit more. And then we can start throwing them on some of these. Let me see. I threw all these guys last night. A couple of them are going to be some little teacups. A couple of them are going to be mugs. And I was playing around with this kind of swirly form, and I'm thinking about carving that. I think a swirly carved form would actually be really neat. So, yeah, we'll just see what we got. Get these guys out of the way. Actually, we should probably start with these guys because they're getting kind of dry. Set him off to the side. We'll start with this guy. This guy feels a little bit drier. And of course, it appears I left my wire tool out on the porch. So I'll be back in just a jiffy. All right. Wire tool acquired. Because these guys, I mean, they're dry, but they have not quite dried off the bat. I don't know if they'll pop off if I bend it like this. This is just one of those plastic speedball bats that came with my wheel. I've got the Speedball Artista. Yeah, still a little too firm for that. I don't even know if my wire tool will cut through it. Oh, yeah, it will. Trusty wire tool. Always getting the job done. Whoa. Yeah, so we just need to clean this pot up a little bit. It's pretty rough around the edges. Clean up that drain hole and all that. Put that off to the side. I'll have to scrape this bat later. And yes, I am inside playing around with clay. I do have this air purifier going, and I'm just gonna clean up very well after stream. Go ahead and vacuum this whole place. I did wipe down all of my countertops beforehand. Obviously, they're not going to stay damp for too long, but I'm doing what I can to limit that clay dust, because if you don't know, clay can be hazardous, especially breathing in clay dust. So, like, even just these little scraps that came out, I'm just going to toss them right in my little bucket of water I have over there, because there's just no reason to leave them hanging around. So right here I just have some water with a sponge in there. Nothing special. And I'm just going to wring this sponge out as much as I possibly can. They're really, you can't even call this thing damp right now. It's hardly even that. And I'm just going to go over and brush over any any blemishes that I see real quick. Again, these pots are drier than I would like, so I'm not going to be able to manipulate them as much as I normally would. Trying not to touch it with my wet hand, but just smoothing it out. Swan City! How's it going, Justin, Nick? You guys still live too, eh? How's my mic? Can you guys hear me? And Trick Shot, how's it going, man? Are you still working along too? I know you were throwing earlier. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm on my way to 50 subs right now, so I can do the mobile live streams, and you can catch me on the wheel. I wasn't really in the mood to move my whole PC out on the porch. The cable for my mic wasn't as long as I was hoping to either, so if you guys could let me know if the audio is okay. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up this guy right now. Just a simple old planter I threw last night. Nothing special. There's a plant store that opened up in town recently, so I've been playing around with some forms so I can bring those over to her. It is good, Trick Shot. Thank you. Hey, Mandy. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh, it's so hot in my room. Probably should open up the window, to be honest. Well, the AC's going, so maybe not. I just don't want to have a fan in here blowing around all the clay dust while I'm working. I'm not normally working inside, but doing what we got to do. But yeah, there's just a simple planter, drain hole at the bottom. There will be a drip tray that goes along with this, but super simple form. Nothing crazy going on at all. But that's really all I can do to this thing because, like I said, it dried out more than I had intended. So set this guy's down here. We got another one. Very simple form. The intention was to alter these. Thank you, Trick Shot. And I don't believe this is terracotta. It is a red clay body. It's M390 from Plainsman Clays. I'm honestly not sure with all the... Hey, Sheila. Thanks for stopping by. With all the research that I do on that kind of stuff, I actually don't know the true definition of terracotta. If it's just... Is terracotta what defines a red clay body, or is terracotta its own kind of thing? I'm not quite sure. I guess I can try to crack this one off, but I'm sure it'll kind of be the same deal because these things are same dryness. But no, this clay body I've always loved since I started throwing with it. And just red clay bodies in general, I've just been in love with. I love the look of them. They've always just seemed to treat me right, especially in the barrel. I found that they're a lot more rigid of a clay body. There's a spider web on this thing. I just threw it last night. I have some crazy looking spiders out on my porch. There's this really, really cool one. Oh man, he has an orange body with a big old black butt. And when he feels threatened, he vibrates to I'm assuming it's to make himself look bigger. But it's so cool. Whenever I get by him, he starts vibrating. I'm like, hey man, I'm not trying to mess with you. He's keeping all the pesky bugs out of my studio. I'll take it. He can live up in that corner all he wants. Wikipedia defines it this way: is a clay-based, non-vitreous ceramic fired at low. So terracotta is the name of a finished piece that is, and if it's non-vitreous, that means it's been fired. What is it beyond? Is it cone 4? Is that the lowest it gets, or is it cone 6? This one actually feels a bit more moist. But anyway, terracotta or not, beautiful red clay body. This is not my reclaim. None of these pieces here that I have are reclaimed. When I do reclaim, I mix my red clay body and my white clay body, and it creates this really nice pink clay to throw with, which is fun. But then when it comes out of the kiln, it still holds on to some of those pink hues, but it turns more of a brownish color. And then there's a third clay body that I like to pick up every now and then, but my clay dealer hasn't had it in stock for a while. But it's called coffee clay. I forget the numbers that it's defined as through Plainsman Clays. It's also a Plainsman clay. But that coffee clay, it's a dark brown clay body itself, and once it comes out of that barrel, it is dark. It is so black. It looks so nice. It fires so nicely. I believe this M390 that I get, this redware, comes grogged from the mill, whatever you want to call it, from the producer. But since I do, it's still intended for electric firing. It's not like a Raku clay or anything like that. So, Ugg Chugs, how's it going, Chad? I finally made it live, my man. There we go. Another simple planter. Like I said, super basic form. I threw these with the intention to alter them, which is what I'll be getting into with these cups and mugs, but they're a little too dry, so I'm just gonna have to let them be the way they are. Actually, I have a little bit more cleaning up to do. There's some little nubbies that I can smooth out here, but a big part of my work is I'm not going for perfection in the slightest. Maybe some point down the line when I'm looking to be more consistent and I have those kind of products possibly, but really I just have such an appreciation for the clay bodies, and I just want them to shine. I don't really know how to put it in words. I don't want to take away from the clay. I want to let the clay tell its own story. Whether I want the clay to be a planter or, hey, Mom and Dad, thanks for stopping by. Just trying to keep all this clay dust picked up best I can. Like I said, I'm inside, which I'm normally not, so trying to keep that clay dust to a minimum so I don't just keel over mid live stream. This is a cup I made. This is actually that white clay body with some of this red clay as a slip and just a drippy, slippy kind of cup. Not glazed, as you can see. None of my products are glazed. And yeah, I seal all my things with liquid quartz. So, I have a drink in here. I'm drinking some apple cider right now. And it's perfectly fine. Yeah, let me get a little bit closer for you. So like there's one of those darker carbon spots that get from the barrel, which is nice. And you got some more up here. Super cool cup. Shout out Mom and Dad. That's right. Looks like a thundercloud. I like that. I have not heard that one before. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying there, Mandy. Thank you, Sheila. Whoa. Almost spilled my water. That would have been a tragedy. Yeah, very throw together workstation here. Certainly not ideal, but we're gonna make it do what we got to do. We'll get our work done that we got to get done. And yeah, let's see here. We're gonna try and go for the driest one. This little guy seems like the driest. This is gonna be a little teacup. I'm gonna carve him up a bit. And see what it likes. I've been really into like heavily carved, heavily textured pieces. I personally don't like handles. I would much rather have a cup that I can just fully grasp with my hand. Feels much more secure. You know, in the wintertime when you got your hot chocolate, you can feel the warmth coming off your cup. It's just stuff like that. I just prefer not having a handle in the way. But that being said, it's still nice to not drop your things. So I've been adding a lot of texture, or even just adding like a line of texture somewhere on the cup, and you know that just gives you somewhere to grasp, like a little bit of bite to have, so you don't drop it or feel like you're going to drop it. Let's see. I'm just gonna use like this regular stainless steel little loop tool here. Hopefully that shows up. And I'm just gonna use the corner of it, and I'm just gonna carve out some little wispies. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Mandy says, peak comfort is double grasping a warm mug. Warms you from the inside out like a long needed hug. Absolutely right, Mandy. That's exactly it. You understand it. Not to say that mugs can't be comfortable, but there's just that, you know, that little extra feel to it. I'm not really going into this with any plan. I've noticed that this tool, when I draw repeated lines down the cup, it kind of gives it like almost a wood grainy kind of texture. But really, it just gives it that extra dimension, just that extra thing to look at. Like whenever you turn the cup around, there'll be a new pattern there. I mean, if you can even call it a pattern. I'm just randomly scooping out clay here. When I threw this cup, I threw the walls intentionally a little bit thicker than you probably can't really see the thickness, but I intentionally threw it a bit thicker, knowing that I wanted to carve it. And I mean, honestly, I probably even threw it extra thick than what people would be used to, because I need it to be able to survive the barrel. It's always something that I have to keep in mind, is if the piece is going to be able to withstand the massive fluctuation in temperature, because it's a lot harder for me to control that slow buildup in the barrel. That barrel in my last short. And he says, seeing the raw beauty in textures and lines, seeing how the potter's hands moved while making it, is very intimate. Whoa, Mandy. You're not wrong, though. I mean, pottery is on both ends of the spectrum. At some points during pottery, you need to use brute force, and other times you do have to be very delicate and gentle. Like right now, if I just squeeze, it won't be a cup anymore. It'll just be mush. It'll be just a mush piece of clay. And it goes from having form and function to back to clay. These lines that I'm throwing on here right now are kind of giving me Starry Night vibes. When will my next stream be? Good question. My current plan. So here's the thing. I used to stream on Twitch, and I kind of burned myself out. I was wanting to hop in and do even just a couple hours of live every single day, and that didn't work out for me. In the end of it, it didn't work out for my relationship. So I ended up just altogether stopped streaming on Twitch, and then I decided to start this YouTube. So I'm gonna try to be a lot more structured with it. I'm going to start with a goal of 3 streams a week. I'm going to shoot for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then depending on what my weekends look like, there possibly will be weekend streams as well. Sounds familiar, I know. Sort of like a dance, yeah. Yeah, kind of exactly like a dance. You gotta listen to the clay just like you'd listen to your partner, and if you don't, you're gonna end up with an incohesive piece or an incohesive dance, and it won't look right. Absolutely. Chad, are you still working in the studio? It's probably about that time that you head out, right? Here are the lines that we have so far. I'm just going to be doing this around the whole cup. Ah, nice. Yeah, got to get that kiln going. I think my first mobile live stream on your rolly rack. I'm skirting around the studio with you. I think my first mobile live stream, I want to be loading up the barrel. And it might not be the first, but I definitely want to get you guys some more insight, because I just love sharing the knowledge that I have about all the firings that I have done. Because although there are a lot of potters out there that do it, not all of them really share their knowledge. They a lot of potters are loners. We just kind of stick to ourselves and talk to our clay like crazy people. But I don't know. Doing the barrel fires, doing the pit fires, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it really connects us to our ancestors. And I mean, like Swansea was saying earlier, pottery has been being made for tens and tens of thousands of years, and we're still finding pottery sherds from these ancient people. And it is so cool that the craft is a part of everybody's daily life. Looks like I don't know if my phone got disconnected. Chad, I'm sorry to break it to you. I think if you have a Bert in the studio, you are a little crazy. Just a little bit. I'm not saying you're as crazy as Bert, but I don't know. I'm not sure why it's not coming through on my phone. Should I reload it here? There we go. Just had to reload the chat, I suppose. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing some wheel streams once I can get my phone going. Like I said earlier, I did think about it. Do not get me wrong. I did honestly contemplate it. About taking my PC, moving my whole setup out onto the porch so I'd be able to stream some throwing. But I decided that we'll get to our 50 subs, and we'll do the mobile live streams as throwing. But we still got to be productive. So aren't we all a little mad here? I suppose we're the Mad Potters instead of the Mad Hatters. Chat stops on phone if you have it pulled up elsewhere. I mean, it's pulled up on my computer, Chad. Does that count? Like I have the YouTube Studio open. That'd probably still count, huh? In this middle here, since I'm thinking about Starry Night, I'm gonna do some super swirls. That's their new name, is Super Swirl, by the way. Deal with it. Oh, okay. And that's why you use the TV? It doesn't stop you on the TV? Only if I have it up in studio. Well, how would I close it in studio? Yes, Mandy, we are doing the super swirls currently. Trademarked already. I already trademarked it. They're my super swirls. Yeah, desktop is fine. Yeah, it'd be a lot of moving around. I was gonna say I could bring in another one of these TV trays and bring one of my monitors up closer, but I don't know. That seems like a lot. But at the same time, I don't want to be missing chat. So is it a lot? Or is it just enough? Now, chat, we're into the real questions. Where's my super? Oh, there's my super swirl. Get some binocular. Man, I already got 4 eyes. I don't need 6. All right, I don't need 6 eyes. I'm gonna be honest. When I first read that, though, I did see bifocals. Mandy says she's got to head out. Got to eat some dinner. Made Caesar salads. Gonna stay Caesar with my fork. Mandy, I have no idea what you mean, but Caesar salad sounds absolutely delicious, and I hope you enjoy every single bite of it. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, Mandy. Let's see. What else do we want to do on here? I'm trying to keep probably about half an inch or so from the lip, so your lip isn't touching carved bits. And I guess so it doesn't cut your lip. There's always the possibility of there being a little sharp edge. I will be going over all this after and smoothing out all these edges. Hopefully prevent that, because we definitely don't want people cutting themselves, their hands, their lips, anything like that. That does not sound fun. Can't say I've ever done it myself on a piece of work, but still does not sound fun. Oh, nice. I like that line. That line turned out good. Just going to do another swoop. How do you mean, Chad? Like, should I get closer, do you think? Closer to the camera? I'm not really sure. I was messing around in here a lot after work, after my day job, I suppose, trying to mess around with the setup, mess around with my lighting. I was trying to figure out the best way to do it. Can't really see me carving. All right, yeah, here, let me just scoot closer. And we'll point this down a little bit. That's a bit better, yeah. Hey, Buela, thanks for stopping by. That's a bit better, Chad. Thank you. Got a soft spot in my floor that the landlord refuses to come fix, which is wonderful. We actually got a few of them, but hey, not my house. And I can't really see my face. Well, I guess I could probably tilt this up a little bit more. There. See me and the work. Should that be good? Still kind of chopping off my head. Might go a hair more up. It's not like you need to see the whole coffee table or TV tray. That's a bit better. That's what we're working with right now. This is just going to be a little teacup. If it survives the fire, it'll be a teacup. It's always a big if. If it makes it out of the barrel alive. But at least on my larger pieces, like a bigger bowl or some of the vases that I make, if they don't end up surviving the kiln, the larger breakages I'm actually able to reuse, and I kind of use them as a shield for my other pots. Well, hopefully you can see my handsome face and my beautiful work all at the same time. Hey guys, whoever's chilling out, it'd be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, double tap your screen on mobile. It actually does help out a lot. And if you're liking what I'm doing here, go ahead and subscribe too. That way you'll know when I'm doing what I'm doing, so you can be around for it. Yeah, this is really giving me like some Starry Night vibes. I like it a lot. Recently, I've been playing around with some Sgraffito too. What I've been doing for that is one way or the other, I take my red clay body and I put white slip over it and then let that dry up a bit. Or, the other way around, I use my red clay body and I put white slip over it. Yeah, absolutely. Ug Chugs asked if I could kind of recap my journey so far. Definitely. I'm going to set the pot down here for a second. So, 5 years ago, I was working at my local Target, day in and day out, pretty much. And one day I decided to go ahead and order a wheel. It came out of nowhere. At the time, my brother was in fine art school. And he had mentioned ceramics here and there. He took a couple courses, during his college career. And one day I ended up just pulling the trigger. I bought a brand new wheel right from Speedball, had it shipped straight to the house, and went and bought clay from Hobby Lobby. At the time we only had Michaels, so I would have bought clay from Michaels. Just their really cheap stuff off the shelf. Really probably not meant to be thrown on the wheel, but that's what we did. I set up my little studio in my parents' basement, and I would spend so many hours down there just playing around with the clay, throwing thing after thing. And I wasn't able to keep anything at the time because, as far as I knew, you need an electric kiln to fire your pieces. So I was just throwing and throwing and throwing, reclaiming my clay, throwing some more. And I started to get tired of that, of just the constant throwing, with nothing ever to show for. Obviously, I was making things and it was fulfilling for a while, but I really had nothing to actually show, like my work, right? So I kind of pulled away from it, and it was probably about a year and a half that I was doing that. And then another year or two later, I moved out of my parents and I moved into where I am now. And during that whole moving process, gathering all my things from my parents, came across my wheel again, and I was like, hey, I really should get back into this. Like I really enjoyed it. And I've been dabbling around with so many other medias. Like I've crocheted this blanket. I knit, I crochet, macrame. My thing's not hanging anymore. My paintings, like this is one of my paintings here. You can't see the whole thing, but I've my paintings all throughout the house. So I've bounced around from media to media. And after bringing that wheel back out of the basement, that's when ceramics really stuck for me. And I really started researching, and it clicked with me that people have been doing pottery for thousands and thousands of years. So if they didn't have electricity, how are they using their pottery? So I got into researching that, came across pit fires, the barrel fires, the propane fires, all of the alternatives to an electric kiln, because I'm obviously not the only one who doesn't have access to an electric kiln. And that brings us to today. So it's been 5 years since I bought my wheel. So I'd say I have a solid 2 years, like, really dedicated to the wheel. And in the last 10 months or so is when I really decided that this is something that I want to spend my life doing. I would like to work towards it to not be a hobby. And I really got to work. I set up my studio out on the porch and just started throwing. I built myself a barrel kiln so I could start firing. And after a while, I was like, man, I really want to create functional work. And the only way to do that, the only common way to do that, I should say, is by glazing your pieces and then firing them in a separate firing. That's not an option in these atmospheric firings because your fuel is making contact with your pieces. So if you were to have glaze on there, as the glaze melts, it'll just be a mess. It just wouldn't work, right? And you'd also have to get to a high enough temperature inside of your barrel anyway. And that's when I came across the liquid quartz. And it is a product from Australia, so international shipping is expensive. And the product itself is pretty expensive as well. But, I pulled the trigger. I was like, I need to make some functional work. That's what I really want to do. And I think it's extremely unique, the work that I do create. I'm drinking out of my cup right now. You can see there's no leakages. It's not damp on the outside at all. Nothing on my counter. Nothing like that. It's a perfectly sealed, food safe cup. And now I'm finally at a point where I feel like I can dedicate my time to doing this. I feel like I can accomplish this dream. So that's what I'm working towards, and that's pretty much where we are today. Starting up the YouTube channel, going to markets, trying to reach out to business owners. I'm in a gallery not too far from here. She bought some of my mugs from me. So it's happening, and it's a real eye-opener. And it's great. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in, man. Sorry I missed your call today. I was busy at work, and I totally forgot to call you back. I actually had every intention to as well. I'm sorry about that. Maybe you can give me a call after stream, yeah? Yeah, Chad. That's pretty much the gist of it. I'm fully self-taught. I haven't done any classes. The only class you could say that I took was when I bought my wheel. I brought it over to my brother's house and we were playing around with it. And he kind of showed me like what he was taught in his ceramics class at school, but it was surface level stuff. It was centering, really. That was the main thing. But other than that, like everything that I do, everything that I've learned has been completely on my own by simply just working with the clay and listening to the clay. I now have somewhat. Yeah, actually, Chad, my brother is an artist. I want to say his Instagram is D Willantis Fine Art, but don't quote me on that. I should look that up. But yeah, he's a full-time oil painter, and he has been for years. And he's doing really great. He has a great name for himself in the Adirondacks in our area, and yeah, I mean that is probably where my main inspiration comes from, is seeing him do it, um, and be successful with it. You know, people say, like, you know, Chad, I remember the other day on your stream, your family was like, well, do you want to be poor when you decided to pursue this? And it really doesn't have to be that way. That stipulation isn't I feel like isn't quite true. If you're poor and doing what you love, I still think that has value in itself. Because poor is relative, right? I mean, like, the guy that's driving a Ferrari, he'll think a lot of things are poor. Whereas the kid driving a clapped out Civic, who's happy doing what he wants, won't be moping around thinking that they're poor. You know, they'll be happy that they're doing what they love. I think I'm just about done carving this little guy. I probably should have covered these back up. I wasn't expecting this to take so long. I probably will do that now. And yeah, I mean, I hope I'm heading in the right direction. Obviously, there will be setbacks. You got to expect those. And you just gotta play off of those setbacks. You know, they'll it's a setback right then and there, but it will benefit you in some way. Now I'm just taking my sponge and I'm going through and I'm just smoothing out all these sharp edges from the tool. I'll just, you know, give it that more uniform look. There are some little chippies that are sticking out that I'm brushing away and all that kind of thing. And again, like, I wrung out the sponge as much as I could, so you can hardly even call it damp, but just enough that. Exactly, Chad. Yeah, right. They're good for you. They're good for you. They'll give you what you need. They'll teach you what you need to know. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Just gonna sign it real quick, but here's our finished look here. I don't know if it's giving anybody else Starry Night vibes, but that's what I'm definitely feeling right now. Just hit it with a little SJM, and then I like to put the year on there. I like to date my not fully date my pots, but I just throw the year on there. It's pretty cool seeing, just taking a look at some of my stuff from even 2020. Like, I pulled the wheel out for a little bit during COVID, and it's just so much different than what I have now. So let's set him over there to dry. Sheila says, we built our propane kiln. We sold our electric. We are solar off grid. Yep. Electric not an option. Check out Simon Leach, who converted. Yep. I've seen some of his videos. And yeah, I mean, that guy loves to convert his kilns. I have a full on propane Raku kiln kit on the way. Still haven't gotten my email with shipping though, so I should probably contact them, because it's been 3 weeks since I've ordered the kiln, so I think something should have happened by now. But I'm super excited for that, and then I'll start being able to use some Raku glazes, and then of course I can still make the functional stuff by liquid quartzing the inside. Raku glazes aren't food safe generally, so I would only be glazing the outside. I read somewhere that only 1% of people are artists. That leaves 99. Yeah, 99% of the population to sell to. Yeah, that's right. I could probably stand behind that statistic. John, you don't create anything? Hello, by the way. I appreciate you being in here. You got to create something, right, John? Let's see here. That guy's walls aren't too thick. This guy's might be. There's another one of these just kind of swirly mugs that I threw. And I'm just going to use this other tool here. I made this from an old saw, and then I strung a wire tool through there. Well, there you go, John. Just because you're not creating something physical doesn't mean you're not creating, right? That's awesome. I used to play the guitar. I could probably still remember some things. I'd have to dig my guitar out. I think it's out on the porch. My grandpa bought me that guitar years ago. What didn't sell well? You're playing? Sheila says, it took me 7 years to get our bricks. Then a year to build. If you decide to build, we can share info. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to learn, you know, and the kit that I bought, I think, comes with blueprints, but if you have any insight as to how I can get better airflow or anything like that, absolutely. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Chad, you're a musician. Are a musician. I mean, you still play and sing. You are a musician. I was getting really into the ukulele, but I gave that to my little sister because she was, every time she'd come over, she'd want to play. So I'm just going to take this tool, and like I said, I just have that wire strung through there, and I'm just going to take chunks of clay off this and see where we end up. We're not looking for anything specific still. Ooh. I'm going to try to keep these all in one place, though. But yeah, I'm just going to scrape away and kind of pull out, just create all these different textures. Go in, down. I'm going to pull this one straight out, and I'll create like a nice edge. Yeah, so like there's that nice edge by just pulling that straight out. Sheila, how did it take you 7 years to get your bricks? Did you make the bricks yourself? I feel like that's something you would do. All right, Clay, let's all stay in one spot here. You can wiggle it to create texture that way. I like the little wiggle texture. Create some nice little edges. Yeah, I hope the audio is okay, too. The whole setup is a bit scuffed. I have my mic stretched as far as it can. This clay keeps getting stuck to my wire. But this is essentially what we're going for here, just all these different kind of textures. Kind of gives it like a, almost like a rocky look. Alrighty, Chad, thank you so much for swinging by, man. I'm going to be at my day job tomorrow, so I'll probably catch you in your live tomorrow, man. I appreciate you swinging by, though. It actually does mean a lot. That's super huge, man. Thank you so much. And I hope you and the fam have a wonderful night. But go spend some time with them, goddammit. You've been in the studio for 15 hours, right? Jeez, dude. Thank you, John. This is a technique that I haven't done a whole lot yet, but it's been on my radar. It's been something that I want to make a little line of mugs, or cups, rather. These ones aren't going to have handles. These guys play into that texture handle stuff. Having this texture, you know, it just gives you that extra, just gives you that something to hold on to. Oh, you know what? I did say I was going to cover these guys, though, because they are going to dry out. Just a trash bag here and like garbage trash bag. Just gonna lay this thing over the pots. Just help keep in that moisture. So they don't dry out as fast. I did have them covered overnight and all day, so I'm really not sure why they're this dry. It did get pretty toasty on the porch earlier, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty humid, so I didn't think these things would dry out that quick, but that's just the name of the game. Sheila says in her other life, she was a trauma nurse. This cement company had a huge kiln. They refined every year. Sometimes holy shit. Oh, probably should watch my language. Sometimes employees would get hurt. When I asked one, how did this happen, he told about the kiln. So you just slowly collected bricks as they... Oh, relined, not refined. Relined. I see. So you just gathered bricks over the years and eventually you had enough to make one of your own? Am I understanding that correctly, Sheila? Pull straight out there. Nice. Trying to do these like nice sweeping motions. It's kind of creating these little swirlies in there as well. Just kind of trying to play into that rocky texture. Just looking where the pot feels a little bit heavy and just kind of taking away some of that clay. Like I said, there's really no plan here. You just kind of look and listen to the clay. See what the clay wants to be done. And then you just kind of do it. That almost looks like a fossil. This little mark right here looks like it almost could be like a... What are these? Ammonites? Is that what they're called? Wiggle it on down, pull straight out, just slide across. We got like a bit of a blank space over here, so I'm just going to fill that in a little bit. Just going to give it that little swoop again. I like that. Give it another swoop right here. There we go. I got the mark I was looking for. I would call the safety officer and check on the employees. He would say, "You're so good to our employees, how can we repay you?" I said, "Here you have..." All right, so you got the leftover bricks from different brick batches, right? So you just built them up over the years and you were able to make your own. That's awesome. I have thought about making my own kiln out of clay, but it's just it would take so much clay, and that's really expensive. Not that this raccoon kiln that I bought was cheap, but they had used the same batch number for each reline. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, big companies like that, they're so strict. Like the company I work for, we build public transit buses, but oh my goodness. Everything has to be done so particularly. And then the customers, the ones who are buying the buses, are also really picky because they're buying a $2 million bus. So like they got to make sure everything's all good on there. That's really cool though, Sheila. I'm telling you, a lot of us are really jealous of what you got going on. I also know that you worked really hard to be where you are. So I got to do the same. I'm just going to shut this door real quick. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be a lot more gentle. I'm going to take the sponge, wring it out as much as I can, and I'm just going to hardly brush over it. I'm really only going to smooth out the parts that I feel need to be. Good night, Buela. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, did you like it and subscribe, Buela? You better have. I'll show up at your house. Do it myself. Alrighty, I think that is pretty good. Here's our carved cup. By giving it that twisty look, it actually allowed me to get a lot more definition around here. You know, like those protrusions, they stick out far, and then those indents, they really come in deep. I'm actually quite happy with this one. I like it a lot. Let's flip it over here, give it a quick sign. Hit it with the old SJM 20 Now I'll just brush that off with my sponge too, get all the little chunkies out. Smooth out those edges so it's nice and flat on the bottom, because nobody wants a wobbly cup. He said we're going to get you those bricks. They keep promising, never deliver. Oh, I see what you're saying. Last week I was at the job. He said, I'm going to get you those bricks. I said, I've written you off. I'm leaving. As you should, Sheila. 7 years. 7 years. Jeez. Well, so in that case, so you and your husband just built your own then without those bricks, right? Yeah, I think I'm happy with this. Just touch up the rim a little bit, make sure the rim is nice and smooth. And then once these harden up just a little bit more, I'm going to go through with a metal spoon and burnish the lips so it's really nice and smooth when you take a drink. I'll just flip this up here. Let's see who's looking a little bit dry. This guy's looking a little bit dry. We got just another little teacup guy here. A little bit bigger than that first teacup. Not by much. Cover those guys back up. Slippy drippy mug cup. Next day he called, how many do you want? I said how much, he said free. We picked up 500 next day. Their oversized brick go up to 3,000 degrees. Who the heck needs to fire to 3,000? Is that like cone 15? Does the cone chart even go that high? But geez, if you have 500 oversized bricks, can you walk inside your kiln? Okay, so that's your outside, and then you have only bought soft interior bricks. Okay. So yeah, those fire brick kind of things. I guess so. You were persistent for 7 years. I'm just carving this one, kind of similar to the last one, but I'm going to stay below the midline of the mug, cup, whatever you want to call it. So it has a nice place for you to grab. And I want to keep a lot of this lip just very clean and smooth. I think that's how I want this one to be. But like always, we'll see what the clay wants. We'll go from there. They burn out rare material to make cement. 3,000, that is crazy. That's really cool, though. I mean, it's awesome that you eventually got those. Yeah, definitely. Please do. I would love to see it. Oh, these swirlies look so good. Pluck that little piece off. 4 foot by 4 foot. How tall is it? Or is it like a full-on cube, like 4 by 4 by 4? Did you get all your mugs thrown, Sheila? I know you were throwing earlier and you're like halfway through. Just taking away some clay at the bottom here, trying to make some straight lines. I think that'll give some nice texture towards the bottom of the piece and give it a little bit more shape. So I don't trim these pieces on the wheel, or at least I haven't trimmed these ones. I do enjoy trimming. Just recently I've been really trying to crank out pieces, and that extra step is time consuming. So I've just been kind of letting the pieces dry, and then I do like a little bit of a hand trim similar to what Chad does. He kind of just smooths out his bottom and sends the piece on his way. And I've kind of adapted something similar. Definitely streamlines the process. But I mean, this one I definitely feel is a little on mug 15. Nice. Depending on how long we stream for, we'll determine if I get on the wheel tonight, but we'll see. Definitely had to get all these pieces. Yeah, I feel you there, Sheila. I always have clay hands when I'm in the streams. But can't just be sitting around watching streams all the time. Gotta have clay hands. There we go. That kind of gave this mug a nice profile at the bottom. It's very rigid, very natural looking, instead of your nice, perfect, round piece of clay. And yeah, I think I'm going to stop here for this one, keeping it below that middle line somewhat. There we go. The lighting is not that great in here. I did get this other light, so I can turn that on and see if it helps at all. Sheila says the kiln is about 6 feet tall with 2 feet bottom dead airspace. Does that airspace insulate? The reason I say, well, yeah, I mean, the reason I say that is because I know, like, when you're hammock camping in the winter. Have to finish number 24. You're going. Oh yeah, you're going for all 24 tonight. But anyway, like I was saying, when you're camping in a hammock, you suspend your hammock, and then you put a cover on the bottom, but you have it kind of draping a little bit lower than the bottom of your hammock, and it creates that airspace, and your body heat will warm up that airspace, and it holds warm air instead of the cool air, and it keeps it off your butt in the hammock. So that's why I think when I think of that, when you're leaving 2 feet of empty space. But if it's for another reason, I'd like to know. That's interesting. And your kiln is also full propane, right? You don't do any wood. Let me check on these handles. These handles should be firming up. Yeah, they're getting there. Yes, insults from the cold Colorado winter ground. All right. Very cool. So I was on the right track then. It helps you, the heat from the kiln will get trapped in that airspace instead of having cold air pushing against your kiln. Otherwise pulls heat. Yep, exactly. Yep. Have to finish number 20. Okay, I read all that. Cool. Let me just sign this guy up. Yeah, I mean, I actually like this a lot. I really like how this bottom is so, like, geometric. It really does remind me of, like, a rocky formation. Okay, you're straight propane. So in that kiln in my last short, the one that looks like a literal volcano, it's like a 2 foot, 3 foot tall flame that we had going on. That's not the barrel I normally fire in. My brother and I built that barrel at his house. And, oh, nice. Oh, man, I'm so jealous. I would love a wood furnace. Definitely having a wood furnace in the house when we get there. But, yeah, that barrel kiln at my brother's is, it's actually a smaller barrel inside of a larger barrel. And then we lined that barrel, the larger barrel, with brick. And cut out like a little firebox window, and we would feed the fire through the bottom. And once we got up to a decent temp with the fire, we took a weed burner and blasted it right inside of the mini kiln on the inside where the pots were. And yeah, I mean, our max temp I saw was just about 1100 Celsius, I think was our max temp. And that was on the outside of the inner barrel. Probably should have brought cones with me. I think the lowest cone I have is an 06 cone. So could have tried that. Just probably should have, just to give some more insight on it, because I was just using like a handheld thermal temperature gun, which obviously aren't the most accurate. So, but yeah, anyway, we had that thing was definitely ripping. We were pushing some heat through there. But the barrel that I have at my house is just a barrel, and I have it propped up on a couple old car brake rotors. So I know those won't melt. And that lifts it up off the ground. And I have some holes drilled in the bottom and a few drilled throughout it. And the way I pack the kiln is I put some sawdust down at the bottom, and then some pots, and some more sawdust, some more pots, and I'll throw some other burnables in there too. Stuff that will light, because the sawdust doesn't really catch on fire. It just smolders a little bit. So I'll throw some other burnables in there, like smaller kindling wood, or sometimes I throw in some charcoal, stuff like that. And layer the barrel all the way up to the top, and start up like your regular old campfire at the top. And I fuel that for probably 1 to 2 hours. Really, however long it takes me to build up a nice bed of coals. And then once all that burns down, I stick a lid on there and I just let those coals smolder their way all the way through the barrel and fire the pots. And it is a bit risky because as the barrel fires, those pots are falling onto each other. So when I stack the barrel, I have to kind of keep that in mind of which pot I'm putting where, making sure my bigger pots aren't falling on top of smaller pots and that kind of thing. So there definitely is some extra work to it. But it's fun. I mean, the whole process, so much fun. I can imagine electric kilns are cool too. And, you know, being able to see all those pretty colors that come out after. But there's just something about being connected to the work. I feel like it's just that extra layer that you and I get from being a lot more active in the firing procedure. You know, it's not you have your kiln sitter or it's all electronic and you just let it go. You let it do its thing. You know it's going to do the exact same thing every time, and you know what results are going to come out of your kiln. Kind of takes away from some of the fun for me, but I also don't know. I've never had the opportunity to fire an electric kiln yet. So I really don't know if I would get that same excitement. All right, let's see here. We're going to move on to now. Let's figure out something to do with this little guy. I'm going my box of tools here. See if we have something else we want to texturize with. Let's do more of a pattern on this one. I got this little spade-shaped tool, and I'm just going to take that and just kind of press it in. I guess I'm going to have to support it on the inside to do this. There we go. Just making these little impressions all the way around. We'll see what it looks like. I've never done something like this before. Just looking at my box of goodies, seeing what we got to work with. That's the cool thing with pottery is like anything, literally anything can be used as a tool, whether you use it to make texture or you use it to form your piece on the wheel. Like I literally have pieces of sheet metal that I've just cut up and into different shapes, and I use them as form makers, you know? Literally anything. I was talking to Ben Wolf in his stream the other day. He has a Nesquik bottle cap on a spindle, on a handle with a spindle, and he uses that, and it creates some really nice texture in his planters. So you don't need to go out and buy the expensive tools by these brands, you know, like they're a company too. Like they're in it just to make some money. So they're going to make their product seem, now obviously there are products that are better than others, but every place is going to make their product seem like it's the best. Like it's the one that you got to be using. All right, we're almost all the way back around here. Sorry, it's hard to show you this part. And I just want to hit up some of these other ones. I didn't really get the impression that I wanted on them. There we go. Just created that nice little spade impression on there. Let's see, what else do we want to do this? Spice it up. Maybe I'll do a texture handle for this one. Got anything else good in here? I'm gonna go ahead and use this ball tool. Can't really see it, can you? I'm gonna use this little ball tool, and I'm just gonna make some squiggles down the side. Just gonna squiggle it back and forth, back and forth. Create a nice meandering path all the way to the bottom of the pot. And then I'm gonna do it again. Go in the opposite direction this time. Back, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. There we go. Clean that up a little bit. Hey, speak of the devil. I was just talking about you, man. Welcome, Ben Wolf, to the stream. Those little squiggles I just made there. And lastly, I'm going to take this tool. It kind of has a little indent on the middle there. And I'm going to go down each side of this to create two nice even lines. Yeah, there we go. Great to see you, Ben. Hopefully you're live when I'm done, and I'll stop in. Of course. Love hanging out with you, man. Super chill. There we go. So this is what I meant earlier by talking about a texture handle. Instead of actually attaching a physical handle that sticks out of the pot, this one, after it's fired and everything, it just gives you that little bit of texture that when you grab onto it with your hand, it just gives you that extra sense of comfort. Like you actually have a firm grasp on the piece, and it's not gonna fall out of your hand. All while keeping a nice, clean look in that raw clay. Hey Ben, I'm sure I'll be live when you're not sometime, and you can hang out for a bit. But good luck with your stream, and I hope to swing by later if you're still going. And definitely don't be sorry. You're doing your thing, man. That's what we're all doing, right? But good luck with your probably saucers, I would imagine, is what you're starting off with. Hopefully, pretty soon I can do some throwing streams myself. I just don't have the setup for it. I was talking about it earlier that I was going to bring my computer out on the porch so I could do it, but that'd be a lot of work to move the whole PC setup outside. And sometimes the roof is leaky out there, and I think we're supposed to get a thunderstorm tonight. So if my PC got rained on, that wouldn't be good. So I figured I'd just set up in here and I'd do some hand building. I'm going to get through all these cups that I have here. I already did some planters of my own. And then we'll see where we're at. But I might make some fish. If anyone wants to stick around for that, make up some fish. Haven't done them in a little bit. The last batch of fish I did, my cat broke every single one. Not a single one survived her wrath. Hit it with that SJM 20 Faux. Very nice. Oh, 1 pound flower bots tonight. Sweet. Well, hopefully I can catch you later, and if not, have a wonderful stream, my dude. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. The night you spice it up is the night I can't be there. I'm just playing around. I love your saucers. Thanks, man. just cleaning it up here. Just trying to smooth out some of these lines. But again, I'll keep saying it. I really just want to highlight what the clay can do. What the clay just looks like in its raw form. I don't want to hide that. I want to highlight it. So I'm not doing a whole lot. Mainly just getting my fingerprints out of there. I don't really want my fingerprints in there. That is the main thing. I might go actually over this one more time with this melon baller tool. Not a melon baller. It's a ball. Why did I say melon baller? What am I thinking of? What's a melon baller? Oh, that's that little round scoop thing, right? Is that what a melon baller is? I feel like that's what a melon baller is. This is a clay baller. I guess. It's not a ball of clay. Or a bowl of clay. There we go. Yeah, I was just getting, I kind of lost it after brushing it with that sponge. So I'm just going to define these a bit more. There we go. Nice. There it is. Oh yeah, I want to turn on this other light. It's getting kind of dark in here. Let me see what this light does. Oh geez, that is bright. Oh, new colors too. Oh my god. Oh my god. It goes all RGB. How do I turn the brightness down on this thing though? There it is. It's kind of like whitewashing this. Is my camera dirty? How can I? My hands are all clay. I'll be right back, chat. I just want to get something to wipe my camera. It almost looks like it's blurry, like there's something on the lens. Oh. All right, let's see here. Hopefully this doesn't make it worse. Or scratch it. Yeah, I mean, actually that kind of got rid of that little bit of fogginess that it had, I think, right? All right. That's creating a whole nother shadow now. But it does seem like it's highlighting the work a bit more. It's just harder to show you. What if I do it like this? There we go. There's that texture handle. And we just got just a little pattern going around the rim. Nothing special. Just a nice little cup. Fits in the hand pretty good. Nice. Should have checked those handles again before I sat back down. I think I want to carve another one like really aggressively. Yeah, like this guy, I can feel he has a lot of weight at the bottom still. So I'm just going to go in there with this guy. How are we looking? Yeah, that light does quite a bit, huh? I think that's working out pretty good. Let's see. All right, so here we got like a nice big twisty boy. Got a nice little twist in there. Gonna carve some away from the bottom, and I might add a handle to this one if any of those are dry enough. But we'll see. Let's just start by taking off chunks of clay. And we'll see what we want to do from there. But like I said, there's definitely a lot of weight at the bottom of this one, so. Hey, Denon, we were talking about you earlier, man. They're asking you if you were an artist. But I'm just carving up this mug, creating some like crazy like rock-like texture. And under here are the pieces that I've already done so far this stream. And I'm also just using that to keep them from drying out too much. But we got this little teacup that we carved up. This guy has probably been my favorite of the stream so far. Carved up the bottom half of it, and really reminds me of like a rock shape at the bottom. Hey Brad, how's it going, man? Glad to see you in here. And then we did this guy. I'm also liking this one a lot. It was super twisty, so it really allowed me to get some nice deep indents, I guess, and really far out protrusions on this one, which is really cool. And then this is the one that we just finished up. I kept it nice and simple. Did a little spade design along the top, and then carved in a texture handle for this cup. And then right at the beginning of the stream, we cleaned up these planters. Very simple forms. I also threw these intending to carve them up and create them, make them nice and textured, crazy looking, but they're just going to be some regular old planters. They got the drain hole at the bottom. Here's the other one. Has a bit more of a classic planter look with that thicker rim sticking out. And again, drain hole. Oh, yeah, this little guy, I like it a lot too. I went over and smoothed out like the sharper edges, because after it fires, like it'll actually be sharp. It could actually cut you. So tried to smooth those out best I could. Yeah, Brad, they're pretty big drain holes. They ended up being a bit bigger after, because I was cleaning them up earlier, and I had some clay that was a little too thin, so I kind of took that off. But for the one drain hole, those would be nice to have as like a hanging planter, instead of on a tray or something, or just ones that will sit outside. Either way. Are you talking about the carvings done, like that texture? Bigger is better. Drains can always. Bigger is better, in my opinion, for drains. Can always water more hard to get excess water. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping, Denon, that they pick up some nice color. But even just the smoky wisps, the shadows that the texture gives really makes those darks look even darker, I suppose. But the tool I'm using here, I just took an old handsaw and took the blade out and strung a wire tool through it. And I'm just using that to just cut chunks of clay off. And I just swing it back and forth. Sometimes I I get it in there and then pull straight out, and that creates a really nice, like, rigid edge. This one in particular has a lot of weight at the bottom, so I'm being quite aggressive with it so I can lighten it up a little bit and get some really crazy textures, hopefully. So when I go in and pull it straight out, you get that kind of, maybe you'll see it better. Yeah, see that nice protrusion there? Can create some really cool texture with these. And I threw these last night with the intention of doing this, so I did leave the walls a bit thicker. So I have clay to take away, you know? I just really like that shape, the profile it gives at the bottom. Pretty interesting. There we go. I think for this one too, I'm going to try to stay on the bottom half of the piece. This one in particular did start getting a little thin at the rim. So that's the main reason. But that's actually true, Bad. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of planting in planters myself, but I can see where you're coming from. My idea with the drain holes was you don't want them too big, or else your soil will just fall out. But that's probably not really an issue, would it? It would have to be quite big for that to be a problem, I would think. My goodness, it's getting so hot in here. Oh, thanks, Swan City. Swan City says, got your stream pulled up. We're just pottery reaction streamers now. Hey, you're just like the rest of them. That's all streamers do these days. Watch TikToks and watch other streamers. At least we do cool stuff. I'd say this is a bit better than watching TikTok. Those of you who don't know or aren't aware of Swan City, they are full-time ceramic artists out of Florida, and they create some really nice work. They also sell their glazes on their website. Very cool people, super sweet. And yeah, I mean, you should check them out too. If you're interested in pottery and that kind of stuff, they make some awesome work. They stream as well. Yeah, so I think, I'm going to stay on the bottom half of this here. I think that's about as high as I want to go with this. I'm going to take this little curved bit here and see what kind of texture we can get from that. Just kind of scooping some clay out here. It's always fun to just experiment. Like, even a tool as simple as this curved rectangular bit, you have so many options on how to create texture. Like, I can use the angle. I can use the big curved side to create some lines that way. Dig in the corner, create a nice like tapered line. I can just use the whole width of the blade and scoop out a nice line. Just this one tool has so many different applications that you can use for it. And it's really fun to experiment with those things. Like, this is an actual ceramic tool, right? But anything that you see, just put a little thought into it. You can be like, oh, well, I could use that for something. That could create a cool design. Just getting little accents here. Trying to pull away from that that really rocky look, although I enjoy it. I feel like these accents are a nice little mash of texture. You know, you got some like really rigid, harsh lines, and then you follow it up with these nice, smooth, swirly lines. I feel like it's creating some nice contrast in the piece. Oh yeah, the deer rib. Let me go grab that real quick. Well, let me finish this, and I'll go grab the deer rib. There we go. I think I'm just about happy with that. Maybe create some more lines right here. There we go. Super heavily textured at the bottom. And then just some more wispy lines at the top. Let me just sign it real quick. Where'd my... Oh, there it is. Jess, the deer rib is exactly what you'd think a deer rib would be, though. It's quite literally a rib that has been ripped at... Well, no, that sounds pretty brutal. Never mind. It's just a deer rib. Hey, Mindy, you're back. How was your Caesar salad? Was it as delicious as it sounded? All right, there we go. Looks like this bottom is still pretty nice and flat. So it's going to get tucked away. All right, let me go grab that deer rib for Jess real quick. I'll be right back. No, actually, Jess wants to see my deer rib. Hey! What? You know where my deer rib is? Yeah. You haven't seen it lying around? No, I think what the heck? I can't find the rib. Is it in this box? I have tools everywhere out in the studio right now because I was rearranging from standing up and throwing to sitting. No, it's not in this box. I have no idea where that rib could have gone. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I ordered it from Andy Ward's Ancient Pottery website, and he sells a bunch of common tools that they would have used way back when. Another thing is a gourd scraper, and it's literally like a rounded scraper that was made from a hardened gourd. That's really disappointing, though. I would like to know where that is. Pretty sure he only sells them for like $6 or something, but I'm trying to think the last time I used it, and I don't know. I'll have to look for it later, and maybe I can send you guys an email. All right, let's see. Man, that is really unfortunate, though, because I'll need it for the burnishing that I do later. Yeah, exactly. Studio life. What the heck, dude? It doesn't go outside, so I wouldn't have brought it outside. I don't know. You talking about this guy here? Is that what you're talking about, Mandy? So this guy's rim, I altered it on the wheel. I stretched the rim up on this side and left it lower on the other side. Just to kind of see what that would do. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. But let's carve this up and see where we get. Because I'm really not liking the look of that right now. It just looks like a very poorly thrown piece of pot. So, no, this guy here is just a blanket that I crocheted. It's just like a small throw blanket, but I have it hanging from the door. I mean, it's pretty nice. I made it out of what's that yarn? Is it Bernat? It's like a thin Bernat. And crocheting is a lot of fun. At my day job, there's a lot of time that I get where I'm not on the roof of a bus or not doing anything. So I started picking up crocheting because that's something I could do out in my car while I was waiting for work. Recently, though, it's just been pretty constantly busy, which is a nice thing. Definitely keeps the days going by quicker. And recently at work, I've been editing videos. Oh, thank you. There's another one right behind the camera that I did, but when I was setting up my stream earlier, my camera kept going black, and I'm not sure if that was like just a thing that YouTube does when the camera's not in use, if it like turns it off, or if there's something wrong with my camera. Otherwise, I'd turn it around and show you. But that one I did more of like a gradient. It's just browns and greens. So I think for this mug / cup, this is kind of the texture I'm going to be going for around the piece. I'm going to try to replicate this pattern around the whole thing. I'm not drawing any lines to keep myself straight or anything like that. I'm just going for it. The unevenness is kind of what adds to the character. I mean, the pot itself is a little off tilt, so I think it would only make sense for the pattern to not be perfect. I'm almost out of cider. Cup's holding up fine though. Not damp. No glaze. Just sealed with liquid quartz. And as you can see, there's nothing leaking out. Nothing on the counter. The inside is still fully sealed. There's still liquid being held in there. So, not drinking any clay particles. We'll just keep going here. What time we got? Oh my gosh, it's already almost 8 o'clock. How long have we been going for? Does it say there? Oh yeah, 1:43. Sweet. Wow. Time's just going by so fast. I really appreciate all you guys just hanging out. This is awesome. Oh, and I also... Mandy, you said your Caesar salad was delectable. That is great. I'm very jealous. I'm actually quite hungry myself. Not quite sure what we're going to do for dinner. I think I have some fish in the freezer, so I might just whip up quick fish and rice. Something easy, something nutritious. Tasty. I'm not sure what kind of fish, though. It's just some kind of white fish that my mom gave me. We weren't really sure on the type. It's not labeled or anything. It's just some white fish. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to tell as I'm cooking it, but white fish tends to just kind of all act the same. Kind of all look the same. At least after they've been filleted. I don't think they would look the same not filleted. Oh, hurt my back sitting up like that. I put a drop of essential oils in my air purifier here, and it smells like lilac. Another thing that I started doing was I make candles out of some of my mugs. I can go grab one of them next time I get up, but that would be really fun to do too, is a candle making live stream in all my own pots. That's right. I figured I'd add a little bit of character behind me, you know. Normally when I have it running, I don't have the lights on, but I figured why not? Nice to see you guys are still hanging out too. Oh, someone's burning the house down. That was my fire alarm, if you could hear that. But it went off, so we're probably fine. Right? Probably. I think I'll probably start to panic once I smell the smoke. I'm right around the corner from the front door. Guess I could always hop out the window too. I'll be fine. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's actually built right in. And then next to it is a closet. This is technically what our second bedroom would be, but it's been turned into the office studio. I have pretty much all my shirts hanging up in here. But yeah, it is really cool how it's built in like that. We have another one the same way in our in the actual bedroom. Two hours minimum. Psh, how can we end when we're having so much fun? Silly. Here's how the pattern's looking. I actually am liking how this is turning out. I can't really pinpoint what it's reminding me of, but it is really cool. I don't know if you guys can see me sweating, though. It is hot in this room, but I'm afraid to bring a fan in, because then that's all you guys will hear is a fan whirring. So funnily enough, since you brought up the wardrobe, I just thought of this. I actually do have some glaze, but I just have never had the opportunity to actually use the glaze. I just remembered that we were supposed to make bats today, so we still got that to do. Yeah, Swan City, we're not ending anytime soon, man. This is the Japanese saw that I have, just a really classic Japanese style saw, nothing special. Let's see here. So this is all from Pottery Supply House. Pretty sure they're based out of Ontario, but I'm not 100% sure. They're definitely a Canadian company. And I bought this from a gentleman in Montreal, John Pothier. Super cool dude, really friendly. I went right into his studio and we were chatting, and then I bought some glaze from him, even though I had nothing to do with it. But anyway, I got this Snow White. Well, that's just wax resist. I got a Cone 6 Titanic Wave. This one doesn't have a label on it, so I can't show you what that one looks like. This one's called Nickelodeon, also Cone 6. But it's not really showing up that good on the camera. It's focusing on what's behind it. But anyway, it has some nice greens and yellows going on in there. And then there's this other one, Ferric Fervor, which is some nice blues and browns. So I have all these glazes, but nothing to use them on. So that's cool. A wicker basket. Yep, I see where you're coming from. Definitely. the alternating lines. They're not crisscrossing, but they're like, it's giving the impression that they are. Definitely. Let's go. We're probably around halfway this mug right now. Hi, Anne-Marie. How are you? We're just over here making some cups, trimming and carving up some cups and mugs. So the Cone 6 glazes in the Pitfire will not even they won't even melt. They won't really do anything. If they start to melt, it would just make a mess because my fuel, being the sawdust and the charcoal, are pressed right up against the pots. So it would just make a big old mess in the kiln. I'm hoping that when I get my Pitfire going, if I can, not my Pitfire, excuse me, my Raku kiln going, I'm hoping that I can get to Cone 6. If not, though, I'll just be holding on to them until I get access to a kiln, which isn't a big deal. I think that was only like $100 Canadian worth of glaze, so probably like 70, 80 US. I looked at a website called Kilnshare, though, and there is a lady across the lake from me. Oh, glad to hear it, Anne-Marie. I do. There is 2 shorts on my channel. One is of a macrame shirt that I made. Well, Nick didn't want to call it a shirt, but it's like a cover. I would recommend wearing something under it, but anyway, yeah, I macrameed a full-on tank top something. I've macrameed like a bralette kind of thing, and I used to do a lot of keychains and stuff. So there's also a video on my channel of me dyeing a keychain with beet juice, and it created a really nice color on that. More than a shirt. That's right. That's how you guys described it. Unfortunately, my girlfriend is too small to wear it. So it's actually still up in that closet right there. I think it is anyway. Yeah. Actually, here's another thing that I've done. This is just a wall hanging. I braided those middle cords. Here's that bralette. Kind of deal. Ties up in a few different places. And then, oh geez, this thing's all tangled up right now. There we go. And here's the front of the shirt. I put some detail on the straps. And flip this out a bit. There we go. That's what the back looks like. So definitely not a whole lot of coverage, but I had a lot of fun doing it. It probably took me, I would say, about 20 to 30 hours to complete this piece. Yeah, Mandy, I kind of do it all. I mean, I paint too. So, like, here's a painting I did. I did a lot of landscape painting. super inspired by my brother, who's a full-time oil painter, and he mainly does landscapes himself. And I got a couple more right up here behind me that I did. There's my paintings all through the house. But ceramics has really grabbed me. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Ceramics called me. It's something that I want to do. It's just such an awesome art, and the fact that you can create things that people use daily is also just crazy to me. It's so cool. Every part of the process intrigues me. It never ceases to amaze me. And there's just always something new to try, something new to experiment with, whether it be in the kiln, in the barrel, on the wheel, any part. Even right now, like, there's just endless opportunity to alter the clay in whatever way. And I talk about the clay speaking to me a lot, and I just kind of look at the piece and I try to read what it would want. Now, I'm not crazy. I'm not expecting the clay to actually talk back to me, but I look at the piece, I study the form, and you kind of just get an understanding and see what this specific body wants to have done. Some of them tell me, like, when I'm looking at it, it communicates to me that it is perfect. Like, that's the way I want the form to be. No trimming needed, no alteration needed, and it's ready to dry out and go in the kiln. Other pieces, they're longing for that. They want something else done. They need something else done to give them the character that it deserves. I'm very excited to start glazing at some point in my career, but there's just something about the appreciation of the raw clay that really dials us back to our roots. Feeling that rougher clay on your lips as opposed to a perfectly smooth glaze, or just feeling that raw clay in your hand. All of it. It's just how I perceive the art, I guess. By the way, anyone who's sticking around and hasn't already, go ahead and like the stream if you enjoy what's going on here. Hit the sub if you want to enjoy more of what's going on here. So on this last little bit here, I'm a little uneven. So I'm going for a little bit of a different pattern. And that's what I'm going to intend for the handle to be. 43. Am I at 43 subs, Mandy? I haven't even been checking. Come on, guys. 50 subs and you can see me on the wheel. That's all it takes is 50 subs. I'm a cheap buy. Subbing is completely free. Yeah, this created a really cool texture on this cup. I really do enjoy this. And then there's that off texture there, and that's what I'm gonna intend for, like, your hand to go. I'm just gonna take the sponge here. It kind of dried out, so I'm just gonna get a little bit of water and wring it out as possibly much as I can. Hardly can call it damp. And I'm just gonna brush over this very lightly, just to get any of those little clay bits off. Whatever clay bits stick on here, once they dry, they'll just pretty much fall right off. They're not gonna stick to the pot. And I'm just also smoothing out my edges. I don't want anyone to cut their hand. Wow. Well, thanks for letting me know, Mandy. We'll have to do some kind of celebration at 50 if I'm live. Let's see, we got 2 more cups left, and then this planter, which I actually want to get to this planter here now because he's still a little bit wet enough that I can carve. I like the 2 textures to it, the alternating lines and the lines where your fingers would rest. Thank you, Mandy. And that's the idea when I'm kind of doing these things is because I know for me personally, if I'm holding just a perfectly flat cup, it almost feels like I'm going to drop it. John says he's got to go. Keep it up. Nice stuff. The Bob Ross of clay. Oh, well, thank you, John. Maybe one day. The joy of mud. What do you guys think? The joy of mud and flames. Ooh, I actually kind of like that. That sounds pretty good. We go, just taking off some chunks of clay here. This planter, again, I threw pretty heavy at the base with the intention to carve a lot of it away, to lighten it up, and to give it that crazy rock-like natural look. And I think I want to keep this textured up, like just the bottom of this piece here. And that'll almost give it the look that it's broken, but it's intentional. For those who haven't seen it yet, I guess I'll just reiterate this. This is an old handsaw that I took, and I just strung an old wire tool through it. And I use it to just cut chunks of clay off. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. You can stick it in, twist it, and pull it straight out. And that creates a nice sharp edge. You can just simply make a straight cut. And because the wire tool isn't straight, and like I said, this is an old one, so it's kind of fraying. It really does leave behind some lines and like extra texture beyond the like just the chunks that it's taking out. Mandy says, "Oh, absolutely." I think she's talking about my texture handles. Oh, absolutely. I'm a crazy, clumsy person, so I'm constantly dropping things. I actually have scars on my fingers from dropping a glass. The bottom falling out and slicing through my fingers. Well, geez. You won't be doing that with my cups. Yes, I like the finger divots too. We actually have a pot here, or a cup here from a local potter who actually is opening up her own studio this spring, which is really cool. Congratulations to her. And she did one of those like thumb cups. So like in the middle belly of the cup, she like pressed her thumb in, and that gives you a really nice spot to. And it's the same idea. Like her pot is fully glazed, but just having that there really gives you that sense of security when you're walking around holding your cup with a drink inside of it. There we go. Another chunk. Probably got a couple more cuts out of this one. Ooh, I just knocked my pot pretty good. Put a little dent in it. Oh well. That just plays into the raw clay, right? I don't want my things to look perfect. At least not all the time. Some pieces, I definitely want them to look cleaner than others. This batch that we're working on here, though, they're mostly just ones that I made to intentionally alter and not keep as clean forms thrown off the wheel. That's how I feel. A lot of Swan City's things are created. They look incredible, and they have that very clean look to them. They take a lot of care in making sure everything is even, and like Jess, when she's trimming, she's constantly getting down and to the level of the pot and seeing what needs to be done. And that level of appreciation definitely yields some amazing results. We're almost looking broken at the bottom, yeah? Maybe I should carry it all the way up or a little bit further. I don't dislike it here, though. Huh. Let's think here. What do you guys think? Do you think I should leave it as is right now with just the heavy carved texture at the bottom? Or do you think I should carry it up through the piece a bit more and try to highlight that look? Just trying to clean up some finger marks here. Yeah, definitely, Mandy. Her name is Sad Radish Pottery. I believe her socials are all Sad Radish Pottery. But I'm not 100% sure if that's what the studio is going to be called. I'm not sure if she's released a name for it yet. I just know I saw a post the other day that she got her space all situated and she's going to be opening that up soon. But yeah, I'll definitely look into it a bit more and see if I can get some more info on that for you guys. Because she is an amazing potter. Highlight that look. So you want me to carry it up through the pot a bit more? Should I bring it up like a third of the way, roughly? Yeah, because right now it's kind of just giving me broken pot vibes. Broken planter vibes. Which, like I said, I'm not disliking the look. But I don't know if it's what this pot needs. Where'd that paper towel go? Gosh, it's just getting hotter and hotter in here. It might be cooling off outside, so let me pop open this window now. Yeah, it brings in a little bit of a breeze. Get them both open. See what that does. You see how these handles are drying? These handles are still a bit too wet. I don't think we're going to be attaching any handles tonight. I think we'll just be carving up the rest of these. All we have left is... Oh. Yeah, I already did that one. So all we have left for now is this guy here. And then we can get to measuring and chopping some bats. The only MDF board that Lowe's had here was primed MDF. Well, one side is primed, the other side isn't. So I'm not sure how that's going to be. I might have to sand all that primer off if the clay doesn't want to stick to it, or if it doesn't want to stick to the clay that I put on my wheel. Because I lost my wheel head pins, and I really don't know if I want to spend $7 to get more. And then I would have to drill holes in those bats too, so it's like... Yeah, Mandy, all right, we can go like a third of the way up. This is the ball of clay so far from all of our trimmings. This, it's getting a bit hard just from sitting out, and obviously this clay was just about leather hard itself, so I'm not really going to be able to do much with this clay. I'll just get thrown in the reclaim bucket. I pretty much turn over my reclaim. I say at least every other day. Sometimes it's daily. So Just can't let clay go to waste. Mandy says maybe you can glaze the divots different colors, give it a funky vibe. Well, Mandy, that would be awesome, but all of my glazing is done in the barrel, and I call it smoke painting. And like you can see here, the wisps that you get are just so random. Like, see, I got that nice black straight line, but it's nowhere else on the piece. Got a little black spot down here, a little black spot up here. So I call it smoke painting because you never know what's going to be absorbed by the clay body, how it's going to burn. I mean, stuff explodes all the time. I have at least 2 explosions in every barrel. And that's not due to me like improperly wedging or not having the clay dried out enough. It's just simply caused because it's hard for me to regulate the temperature and evenly heat the entire barrel all the way through. So sometimes one side of the pot will be getting blasted with heat from like a charcoal that fell onto it, while the other side isn't. And that can cause an explosion right there. Now, that being said, I do have some red iron oxide, and I've mixed that up and made almost like a paint of some kind and done some designs on there. And when that comes out of the kiln, it turns a dark, dark black, which is really cool. And I guess you can kind of consider that a glaze, but it's not quite. It doesn't make it food safe in any way. It's just that extra. I'm trying to think of how we want to do this here. I think I might take this tool back out, this rectangular. You can see it better on my shirt than my skin, I guess. And I think I'm just going to start taking chunks out with this and see what this can do. This has got to do some funky things, right? But yeah, I mean, I can't wait until I can do a barrel load with you guys on stream. That's going to be super awesome. And just having you chill out there while we build up the fire and get some s'mores. If I don't use lighter fluid. If I use charcoal, sometimes I throw a little lighter fluid in there to really help get those charcoals going. But if I just do the sawdust, excuse me. Ooh, I wonder who this crazy pottery person might be. Well, Dursant Woods, I guess I wonder what kind of crazy viewer who you could be. John from AC, hey buddy. How you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you around, eh? For those of you who don't know, AC Gaming Space is my parents' business. They focus on board games and the tabletop games, Dungeons and Dragons, and that kind of stuff. Super cool spot. Their whole idea when creating the business. Good. I got told about your account, so I decided to hop in and say hi. Well, thank you, man. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Mandy, I am quite the wacky dude. John would know. John was right there at AC pretty much from the day we opened. Well, I'm so crazy that I went ahead and named myself Silas when I was adopted. That's how crazy I am. Wacky dude over here. You got to be a little wacky to do pottery. Hey, Mom and or Dad. Nice to see you guys are still chilling. But yeah, of course we got to shout out AC. I play D&D over there on Saturdays. My group of buddies, super fun. They've been lurking the whole stream. Wouldn't be here without him, Mandy. Couldn't be here without him. I think this is just about all I want to do to this piece. Oh, hey, Sylvia. Sylvia, my little sister, is actually an artist too. Recently, she's been doing a lot of crochet. And she does diamond art. Or the diamond painting, which is really cool. She creates some pretty awesome things. She's just like me. She bounces around from media to media. She's very skilled. Just able to pick things up and just start going to town. Same thing with my little brother. I mean, he just, like, not too long ago, there was a drawing of a dragon that was on my parents' fridge, and I was like, well, where did that come from? And he just drew it up one day. It was crazy. Oh, I'm missing some chat here. Mandy, this kid here I've known for 8 years. He's a good friend, and his siblings are so sweet and adorable. Oh, thank you, John. The wholesomeness. Y'all gonna make me cry. Oh, Mandy, hopefully those are happy tears. Yes, parents are pretty awesome too. Pretty cool dudes over here. All right. Well, got some interesting texture from that tool. I was just kind of scooping out some clay. Almost giving me like waves on top, like rocks down at the bottom here with the waves over the rocks. That's kind of how this pot is making me feel now. And I like it a lot. Yeah, Mandy, I guess we just got a little family of artists. I'm going to turn this guy upside down now so I can let his base dry a little bit more. And while he's upside down, I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to try to clean up the drain hole a little bit. I'm going to take my sponge and give it a little swirl around in there. Make sure that's nice and smooth. And then along these wavy parts, since I'm thinking of it as waves, I'm actually going to smooth it out a bit. Not a whole lot, because I still want that texture to really shine through, but I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit. Whew, it's so hot in here. That should be good. Kind of looks like fish scales. Yeah. Yeah. So we got the rocks, we got the waves, and we got the fish all up in there. A koi look. Yeah, there you go, John. Koi. Hey, Nick. Earthy vibes at the base. The connection to the ground like it's rising from the earth. I love that, Nick. See, it's so cool. This is new to me, getting all these different impressions from people. It's so cool to me how we can all look at the same thing but feel something different from it. Alrighty, this ball of clay just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And we got one more left. This is the last piece I have thrown at the moment. Let's think. What do you guys think? What is this pot speaking? Very simple, rounded tea bowl shape. Oh, good shout. I don't have any water in here. Got a little bit of apple cider left. All right, John says, ooh, Silas. I have an idea that would look neat. It's like that one Magic the Gathering card. That's what we used to play all the time. That's one of the trading card games. With the jagged rock-looking desert with the bright multicolored sky. Mix some tumbleweeds in there that roll around the pot. Okay. All right, I see where you're going. Let's think. What if we do play on that desert look? I can't say that I know exactly what card you're talking about because there's just so many Magic cards. But I like the desert idea. So I'm thinking about carving maybe some kind of cactus. Maybe some kind of cactus shapes. Some impressionistic cacti. And then maybe some tumbleweeds rolling around. I'm really kind of liking the look of these pots when I just keep the texture on that lower half. I think that's giving them a cool look. I mean, like this one here, I like that it goes all the way up to like pretty much the rim. But yeah, let's try that. Let me get my melon baller because that's what I'm going to keep calling it. Let's see if I can brainstorm a cactus here. I love that crochet blanket behind you. Take inspiration from that to the cup design-wise. Oh. You know, Mandy, since we're already on the desert topic, I'm kind of seeing desert in that blanket now. Like the middle is the sun. And you get those slight pops of green because, obviously there's not much green at all in the desert. And that nice gray would be like the sand. I mean, that blanket's honestly giving desert vibes since we're on that track. Now I'm going to take this little pointy wooden stick and just put some impressions of thorns from the cactus. This is probably one of the more silly things that I've done. I think this could be neat, though. I just got to not overdo it with the thorns. It's going to muddy up the piece. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that giving off cactus vibes or it just look like a mess? You like it, John? Let me do a couple more. See if I can get them to... Oh, you think I should just leave the one cactus and maybe throw in some tumbleweeds now? I could do that. We could leave the one cactus. He is alone but thriving. Maybe to get these cleaner lines, I should... make the braids in your crochet top towards the rim. Are you talking about like these crisscrosses here, Mandy? I know it's probably not showing up too good on the from there. But you're talking about like those orange crisscross? I don't think we're going to get that thunderstorm that we were promised. Wow, guys, we've already been live for nearly 2.5 hours. And we're up to 11 likes. I didn't even realize that we passed 10 likes. Thank you guys so much. That is awesome. Right now I'm just throwing in some tumbleweeds. Going for a basic swirly. And I'm hoping that gives off tumbleweed vibes. Let's try to make one with a different texture as well. Yeah, Mandy, you are talking about those orange pieces. Trying to think of what I could use to create a texture like that I have on hand here. I do have this clay roller that I made. It's not quite a braided texture, but it's like a dotted texture. And I can see if that will imprint onto the clay. I don't know if the clay is too hard for that right now, but we can certainly give it a shot. Excuse me. Gosh. Or do the crochet top patterns. Loved the diamond details on it. Hold on, let me take a look. Oh yes, I believe those are called clamshells. I think that's like the technical term of that stitch. But yeah, those could definitely be neat too. All right, cool. What do we think? Do we want to try this roller? I'm really not sure what I could use on hand right here to kind of create that braided look. Try to stay a little cleaned up here. After stream today, I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time cleaning up in here so I don't leave any clay dust for the kitty to get into. I thought Smokey would be making a guest star appearance, but I don't think so. All right, I'm going to hit it with this roller and see what we can get. Yeah, this clay's a little too hard for the roller. Unfortunately, that's something I would probably have to do more so when I take it off. Braid a small macrame piece and put in an impression. Yeah. Well, here's a. Oh God, I'm getting attacked by yarn. Ah. All right. Here's an older piece that I did with some really tough cord that I didn't like, but I could try to take this braid right here and do an impression in there. Let me see. Oh, John, what's your idea? So there you go. just finished off my drink. You can, well, you probably won't be able to see it. No, I can't really. But anyway, you can see the drink that's just beating up at the bottom there. Why not add little pieces of clay over to trace the pattern and lay it across? That is a cool idea, John. But unfortunately, right now my clay is kind of at the point where it's a little too hard, and if I were to add wet clay to it, it would just crack, and it probably wouldn't. It wouldn't hold on to the pot. It'll just kind of crack, and like as they dry, they'll push each other apart. But is there a good idea? Like that is something that could be done. Just unfortunately, at the stage of drying that this spot in particular is at, I don't think it would end up working out. No, not necessarily. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just clay, right? I can always throw it into the bucket and return it into something else new another day. No, that is a really good idea, though. Just like adding a braided rim right to it. Well, what do we think, though? Should I try pressing this into there and see what we get? I don't know. The clay still might be too hard for this, too, but I think I'm going to do it. Trace it with a sculptor. I could, but then in that case, I'm just taking away clay. And my rim, up towards the rim, it's a little more delicate and thin. I do have some stencils out on the porch. So I'm deforming the rim a little bit here. So I'm going to have to try to go through and see if I can smooth that back out a little bit. Now I'm on the other side. I know why they say no to smashing. What do you mean? We always want to smash pots. If we're given an excuse to smash a pot, we'll smash that pot. Tell you what, if we get to 50 subs, I'll smash 2 pots. How about that? How you like damn apples? Mandy, can we get a live sub count, please? If you're still hanging around. Swan City, you guys are still hanging around. Are you guys still live? You guys still working along too, or you guys done for the night? All right, let's see. Try to round out this rim a bit more again. $44, 6 more to go. Just give me an excuse to smash, and I'll smash some pottery. Yeah, so the clay is a little too firm, but that braided texture did still show up a little bit. What you got, John? What's your idea? And then where are we here? There's our cactus with some tumbleweeds, just sparingly throughout the desert. All right, what we got from John here? Closed shop. Oh, got you on the 65-inch in the living room. Nice, Nick. I'm on the big screen, baby. That's what I'm talking about. There right, we're just gonna give this guy a flip, give it a sign. What do you guys think? Did you guys see like the cactus and everything? Did you like that? Do you guys think there's anything else I should add to this guy? I think I'm pretty happy with it. I like the subtleness of the tumbleweeds, and I feel like having the cactus there is what gives it the context for the tumbleweeds. It's not just swirlies along the bottom. If people want to see it as swirlies on the bottom, that's totally fine, but I think that cactus does give the context there. We'll hit it with that S, that J, and that M. 24, because we are in 2024. And just kind of clean that up a little bit. Boom. Alrighty. Let's just take a quick review of what we just got done here. And then I'm going to try to get set up here to do, to chop up some boards. I'm going to have to run out and grab some more plastic so I can just catch all my wood shavings a little bit less. That I'll have to vacuum later. Hopefully. And it's definitely not ideal to be doing this in here, but I have no other way. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do sawing inside. Yeah, whatever. I breathe in enough clay. What's a little sawdust going to do to me? Oh, nice, Sheila. 24 mugs on the day. Love it. I got 7 cups and 3 planters done today. And this ball of clay is just getting harder and harder the longer it sits on the counter here. John, what idea? You said, oh, and here's an idea with the pots when you hit 50. And then you said, yeah, it looks nice. I don't know if did you send your idea in? Or did I just miss it? Look above Sheila's comment. You said, yeah, looks nice. Or at least that's the last comment I see. At least on my phone. Is there something over here that I'm not seeing? I don't know, John. You're going to have to, if you don't mind, just typing it again. Well, the only thing that I see under Nick's comment and above Sheila's comment is yours that says, yeah, looks nice. That's all I'm seeing. Am I blind? Like, what am I? What the heck? Well, just go ahead and type it again. I'm not sure why it's not coming through on my end. That is really weird. I'm not seeing it on my computer or on the... What was the idea? That it looks nice? I'm so lost, buddy. All right. Let's switch gears here. Get these guys off the ground. Put all these tools away. Back in the bin. Back in the bin. There was the other planter earlier. The reusing of old pots by breaking them to use for texture. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I could definitely take fired pots. Like, so I use the broken pieces as like a shield in my barrel for the other pots. So it's less likely that the fuel falls on them. But yeah, I mean, I do have some smaller pieces that come out that really won't do anything. And I could definitely try to like break them and carve them in a way and try to get some different textures. Absolutely. Definitely. Alrighty, dudes. I think I'm just gonna run and grab another TV tray real quick because I think that'll just be the best way that I can saw this, and I'll grab a piece of plastic too. All good, Mandy. I'll just be right back myself. I just gotta grab a couple things. I already got the board in here. I got my yardstick to measure. I got the saw. So I just need to lay something on the floor here just to try to contain the mess best as possible. Yeah, because that gives smashing at 50 more excitement. Oh, I see what you're saying now. I am caught up with you, John. I see. Alrighty. I guess I'll also take care of this clay water while I'm out there. Alright, guys, hang tight real quick. And I will be back in just a few seconds. Just going to slide this one over here. There we go. Okay. I'm keep stream up so you get seen. But I'm going to start my own stuff for a while. Alright, cool. Oh, shoot, Mandy, that's what you missed. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me show you that real quick. But anyway, John, thank you so much for hanging around. I appreciate you leaving it open. That's cool too. But here you go, Mandy. The braided up here at the top. It did leave a little bit of impression. It's not super clear what it is, but you know, it's there's some design work there. It didn't so much leave a braid. It almost reminds me of leaves. It almost looks like a leaf pattern. And then down here, that's how our cactus and our tumbleweeds turned out. Tried doing a couple different tumbleweeds to give them some character. Because not every tumbleweed is the same, right? Yeah, there you go. That's how this one turned out. I'm pretty sure this is going to be more like a tea bowl. Normally on my tea bowls, I'd have their bases a little bit taller, so they're kind of raised up, but this will definitely get the job done. All right, cool. Yeah, got a nice little spread of pots there. I will be right back. Just got to grab a couple things. Oh. Yeah, the tumbleweeds do kind of give that swirly effect. Does make them look moving. All right, be right back, dudes. All right. I'm almost at 50. right. There's that. I forgot the plastic though. Thank you guys for hanging out for the minute that I'm gone. All right. Sorry, if you have your earphones in, plug your ears for a sec. Well, I guess your ears are plugged. Well, hopefully that catches a majority of the shavings, at least. All right, so what we got here is some 1-inch thick MDF board. Swan City Ceramics recommended this to me. It is 6 inches wide, so I'm going to be making 6x6 squares all the way down, and I'm going to use those as bats. Let me try to re-angle the camera a bit here. Oh, we don't want all that junk in there. Let me back it up. Will this bag slide with me? Oh yeah, nice. There we go. Let me get this chair out of the way. Neat. All right. Coolio. So yeah, I guess our first step, we got to measure this out. I did go ahead and chopped it in half because this thing was 8 feet long, and it hardly fit in my car. And there was definitely nowhere for me to put it in this tiny room if it was 8 feet long. So that's what we did. So we're just gonna line it up here, and see, I had a pen somewhere. No, this one will do. Just gonna take this pen, mark it at 6 inches, move down, line up my mark, make sure my ruler is nice and level with the wood. Mark another 6 inches, slide it down, line it up, mark another 6 inches, slide it down, line it up, 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Making a mess. Just throwing things around. There we go. Really? Guess I'll have to flip her around now. Let's see how I'm going to do this. So I got to put that line on 6 inches. There we go, because I flipped it around. And mark it on that side. That should be good. And this last one is only at 4 1/4. So I guess that could be a baby bat. I don't know. And now let's see. Let's do this on the other side now. We're making 2 marks, so I can get a nice straight line to follow for a nice straight cut. Slide it, mark it, slide it, mark it, slide it, mark it, slide it, mark it, slide. Oh, well, now we're running out of slide. So we'll put the 6 inches on there. Right? Or wait, yeah, how did I do that? Maybe I have enough room. Just slide that down instead. I don't know why that was messing me up. All right, and now I'm just going to use this as a straight edge. So I'm going to line it up with my 2 points that I made so I know I'm straight. And I'll just draw a straight line up and down. Just to fully give me a line guide for the saw. And my cuts probably won't end up being perfect either because I'm using a hand saw and, well, not a perfect guy. So here we go. Yeah, it is looking thick, I know. But, I mean, I cut it in half earlier, and, the saw did the job. But, yeah, this stuff is definitely thick. I was thinking about that, maybe finding somebody. I'm sure my grandpa has some kind of saw that we could cut these in half. And then I had to get double the amount of half-inch thick boards. There we go. And then this one on the end here is going to be tiny. It'll probably be for like, I don't even know. We'll see if that guy gets used. All right. No. I want to measure up the other one. Now let's just get into cutting. Hopefully this isn't obnoxiously loud for you guys. Cool. Let's see. How should I start this too? Bring these closer together, I suppose. Should I use that chair to support it? Maybe. But yeah, this stuff is definitely pretty thick. Like it's a full-size board. It's all there. Let's see, what can I use to like prop this up so it doesn't just flop on me? Ha ha ha. Wonder if maybe I turn this way for you guys. Then I'm even closer to the mic. So then I can maybe prop it up on my desk. Oh, geez. What if I spread that one out more and did it like that? There we go. I can angle that. There we go. That gives me a little bit more, I think. Yeah, it's pretty sturdy. So, just got this traditional Japanese style hand saw. Works really good on the back pull. Doesn't really do much cutting down. It's got one side where the teeth are really thin and fine, and the other side where it's a bit more aggressive. I'm not sure if this is the proper way to use it, but I like to use these little guys to get my cut started, get a nice straight like starting cut, and then I switch over to the big boy to really shred through the material. So that's all I'm going to do here, get my cut started. Those teeth were catching there. But staying on target. So I'm going to switch over to my big blades now. Hopefully this isn't absolutely destroying your ears. If it is, just put me on mute. Make sure I'm still going straight. Oh yeah, we're following this line beautifully. What do you mean, is this safe? Of course it's safe. The only unsafe part about this is that I'm doing it inside, but I'm going to vacuum it all up right after. I have the air purifier going, so the air should be pretty heavy. Hopefully I'm all right. Breathing in clay all the time. How bad can a little sawdust be? There we go. You can try to sand this down a little bit here. That was from my cut earlier. There. It's more beveled now. Well, there we go. So yeah, like I said, the MDF that I got is primed on one side, but it's not on the other. So I don't know if I'll have to end up sanding this down. I know the Swan City guys, their bats are just the MDF, so we'll see. I'm also curious to see how the 1-inch thick will stick to will like stay stuck to the clay on my wheel head. I'm not sure if that'll have any effect on it. Oh crap, sorry, that was probably loud. We'll just slide this over and keep going, I suppose. That wasn't so bad though. This wood is a lot softer than the hardwood that I was cutting through the other day with this saw when I was building a workbench. A little off center here, so I'm trying to just pull that back onto the line. There we go. I think we got it. Definitely getting some sawdust on the floor, but I had to vacuum in here anyway after stream from the clay, so. Not too worried about it. These things aren't very stable, so I'm not really sure how straight my cuts are going to be. Yeah, the wobbliness is definitely making this difficult. I'm going to switch hands here. Give my left hand a little bit of a break. Yeah, so that little curve that I have in there, you can really see how it's you can really see how it's affecting the saw here. What I'm going to do is just come in from the other side here. Just try to line it up. Wahahaha. It's tiring out both my arms. I really think these unstable tables are what is messing with me, though. It's not allowing me to cut super straight. There you go, so I have to go at it like that. Lose here. I have my hand on one side, the other side shakes. Put my hand on that side, the other side shakes. Oh, am I through? Oh, not quite. Number 2. just about the same size. Close enough. We're up to 14 likes on the stream, dudes. That is heckin' awesome. I almost feel like these smaller blades are just cutting through it better. I wonder if it's the type of board this is. Because that was way faster than the other two and a lot cleaner of a cut. So I'm going to start using that small blade now. The big blade is just really rough. I'm not, maybe my bigger teeth are starting to dull out or something. I've definitely done a lot of work with it. So, I mean, I built a whole workbench and everything I cut was using this saw. Definitely took some time, but it's now the epoxy workbench. Well, there we go. Guess I should bring my thing a bit closer. There's number 4. Bloodleaf, my dude. Hope you have a good stream. I've been chilling for like 20 minutes now, but I gotta go. About to walk on the beach. Dude, that sounds phenomenal. I was actually, when I was just out there grabbing the stuff that I needed, I just asked if we wanted to take a walk down to the beach because I'm sweating in here. I could hop in the water right now. Absolutely. I'd love to hop in the water right now. So that sounds great, man. My board flipped. I was like, why does that one look so skinny? And that's because it is the skinny one. But Bloodleaf, definitely appreciate you chilling. Ingenuity and elbow grease. Big props in going live too. It's not easy. You'll feel great after. Thank you, man. Kind words actually go a long way. You have no idea. It might not seem like a lot to you because it's so easy to just type something on the keyboard, but it really does have a lot of meaning behind it. So I appreciate it. Whew, gonna switch arms here, see if I can do it with my right. Yeah, these little teeth really get through it quickly, especially when I'm using the full length of that blade. It's really just chewing right through it. Yeah, keep doing these. I'll pop in and hang out. Yeah, man, for sure. Once I can go live on vertical, I'm stuck to the desktop right now. That's why I'm inside. I'll be out on the wheel and doing stuff out actually in the studio space. Not that this was bad in any means. I had a lot of fun. I'm hoping other people did too. Just gonna trim off this little nub we got here. But yeah, man, you too. I mean, I always seem to miss your lives because you seem to go live at like 3 o'clock in the morning my time. But yeah, I mean, I have caught them in the past. I wake up and I see a notification that you went live, and I stop in and you know, you're still going. So, oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm super excited to go live and get on the wheel. All right, we got 3 more full-size ones off this, and then we're going to have a smaller one that's going to be more rectangle shaped because it's about 1 3/4 inches short of what we're looking for here. But I'm sure I'll still put it to use. I mean, a rectangular bat work just the same as a square bat, work just the same as a circle bat. So I don't see that being an issue at all. Anyone able to give me a live sub count? Up to 15 likes on the stream now. That's pretty rad. Seems like these teeth are doling out now too. It says 50. No way. Does that mean we gotta smash some stuff? Did we ever agree on that, or was I just saying it because I want to smash some stuff? I mean, if it says 50, I gotta do it, right? I guess at the very least, I made a promise to myself. I just finished chopping this one. And I'll go grab a bucket and see what we can do. All right, there's number 6, I believe, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's already 6 of them. Bye, Budleaf. Thank you, man. I appreciate it so much. All right. Does anyone want to see some pottery get smashed? Or is it just me? Am I the only one that wants some smashage going on? Jess says yes. I'm saying no. Nick, why are you saying no? Is there a reason you're saying no? Can you give me a valid reason to say why you're saying no? Because if you can't give me a valid reason to not smash a pot, I'd say 50 subs is a valid enough reason for me. All right, last cut on this board. the song is giving ASMR vibes. Well, I'd rather have it give ASMR vibes than bleeding ears vibes. Like Jess gives me when she's taping boxes. Does YouTube not automatically record? I thought YouTube automatically records all that. Remember on Twitch I had something separate to record my stuff. So here's that mini one. You can see it's a bit short. Falls a bit short. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can still use it for something. There's our pile of first bats. Pretty nice. It says you're able to download your videos, but only in 720. Yep. I got you, Nick. Thank you. Yeah, I'll have to look into something. Do you have you found a software that works best for you in doing that recording? Alrighty. Well, I mean, that got the job done. I got most of the shavings in the bag. There's still some on the ground, but they'll get vacuumed up. Oh, okay. You just use OBS for your recording. Sure. I think back when I was on Twitch, I just used Streamlabs. If I remember correctly. It's probably still installed on my PC. I don't see why I would have deleted it. Oh, man. I'm going to have to hop in the shower after this. Get all this sweat off. Ugh. Feels gross. And I still got my rice and fish to make. I'm excited for that. The mystery fish. The rice and mystery fish. Alrighty. Well, Jess said she wants me to smash something, so let me go find something to smash. All right. So here's a vase that did not survive the pit fire. Super heavily carved, super neat piece, but the entire bottom blew out. As you can see, just blew right out. So it doesn't really sit up straight. She's a little wobbly. But as you can see, this was a white clay body. This started as a white clay body. And yeah, this is how dark it got. The clay absorbed so much carbon during the firing, it turned black. There's really not a spot on this thing where the white clay shows through. It all turned black and gray. The only spot that you can see is maybe right here. It's a bit lighter. But yeah, it got real dark. Really cool. Nick said record on your phone, re-upload as a short. Can I do that right on? What do you mean, like, now you wouldn't be screen recording, right? Do I have to go to the YouTube studio on my phone? Can I do it that way? Oh. My hair's a mess. Jeez. I'm not seeing it in I'm not seeing it in the YouTube studio. Do I have to get do I have to download something for that too? Oh, you mean just use my phone's camera, not record the stream off my phone? I see what you mean. I see what you mean. You see, all of my tripods are in use right now. Let me see. If I do it like this. Live recording. Smashing pottery. There we go. All right, guys. Thank you to everybody so much for 50 subs. We're now really able to stream the way we want to, which is on the wheel, out in the studio, not cooped up in this hot house. So we're going to take the hammer to this vase that exploded in the kiln already, but now we can explode it in our hands. Nice. So now you can see that white clay body.
Was that you or was that the cat?
No, I'm smashing pots. I got 50 subs.
Oh, thank God. I thought the cat knocked over something.
Nope. I'm just making more of a mess in here.
I was about to be like, Smokey, what are you doing?
Smokey never made a guest appearance.
Well, no.
Where is she?
She's sleeping.
Fine. I know. Do-dum. 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 It's a Smokey. You were sleeping, huh? Alrighty. Bye-bye, Smokey. Thank you. Bye-bye, Smokey. Well, anyway, there's my first pot smash. You're smashing pots too, Nick? Do we get one more smash? Ow, that one got my hand. Ooh. Geez, now I have pots everywhere. Pot sherds. But there was the Smokey. She's not the fondest of being held. So yeah. Well, I pretty much did everything that I wanted to do today. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, we're just gonna go through a quick wrap up here. We're gonna go through what we trimmed, and then I'm gonna be closing down the stream here. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting tired. I'm getting hot. So we started off today with this old tea cup, and heavily carved. We just did some swirly textures. Really reminded me of Starry Night in some spots. Super cool. Quite simple. We've got this guy. Now this one is a little bit interesting. Not so much my usual work, but with the help of the chat, this is what we made. So we got a little cactus here with a braided rim that I imprinted with one of my macrame pieces. And then we got some little tumbleweeds. Just floating around there with a lone cactus. This one actually turned out really cool. Mandy said it reminded her of a wicker basket. And just pretty cool pattern. We kind of switched it up right here. Oh, right here. To kind of signify where the handle is as a slightly different pattern. But pretty neat, repetitive. This one we kept it quite simple. I just used a spade tool and put some little indents in along the top there and a little waviness. And then added in a little stylized texture handle. That's where, you know, your fingers will rest. Give you a nice secure grip on there. Nick says, after the stream processes, go to the video and there's a remix option. I'll read that in a minute, Nick. Thank you. This guy here, super neat. Left the top just in a nice smooth finish, but clearly went to town on the bottom. Really giving it that rocky, natural look. Super cool on the bottom. I love how geometric it is. It really just reminds me of some rocks. I think is really cool. Another little teacup on that one. This guy kind of had the same idea. Left the top pretty untouched, but we had a swirl in this one, so it really accentuates some of those protrusions and really pulls back on some of those indentations there. So got a lot of contrast on this one. Super neat. This guy, we went for a full-on carved look around the entire thing. Yeah, me too, guys. After doing these full ones, I really do like the look of having just that bottom half or bottom third carved up. I think that really gives a nice clean look while still having that alteration thrown in there. So I believe that's all of our cups that we did. Now we're on to the planters. So this planter here, same idea. I kind of kept it on that bottom third. And this one kind of reminds me of like waves at the top with rocks at the bottom. I had somebody in here earlier who said it reminded them of a koi fish, like those scalies, like almost scales at the top here, and then really rocky and heavily textured at the bottom. And same kind of thing. It got super geometric at the base, and I think that is really wicked. And I'm probably going to be incorporating some of that look into future works. But pretty cool planter. And then we have these two planters over here. These ones got a little bit too dry for me, so we really didn't do much to them at all. We just cleaned them up, cleaned up their bases. This one's a very classic looking planter with a bulky rim. Drain hole at the bottom, just super clean, finished look. And who knows what it'll look like when it comes out of the fire. It definitely won't look like this. I can guarantee you that. And then again, for this one, very simple form. Again, the intention was to alter these ones too. Just wasn't meant to be. They dried out a little bit too much today before I got home from work, and that's how they wanted to be, I suppose. So that's how we're going to leave them. And we'll see what the barrel does to them. We'll just flip those guys upside down so their bases can dry as well. And that's what I did with the rest of the pots. All of them are flipped upside down now. The lips, the rims got hard enough at this point that those won't be warped at all, or take any indentations or anything like that. So just so they can get a nice even dry, we don't get any cracking on our bases. None of those shenanigans. Let's see what we got here. Turn my phone off, so I'm reading from the monitor now. That was a great smack. Okay. After the stream processes, go to the video and there's a remix option. Try to play with that. Well done today, bro. Look forward to watching your journey. Clean up time. It will be glorious. That is right. And bottom half of the card look. Yeah. Thank you, Mom. And yes, Smokey did end up making her guest star appearance. Maybe that was also for the 50 subs. A smash and Smokey. Alrighty. Well, I think I'm going to wind it down there. I did everything that I wanted to do today. Went for 3.5 hours. Went for longer than I was expecting to today, so that's awesome. Made it to 50 subs. Also amazing. Next stream will definitely not be cooped up in this room. We'll be behind the wheel, which will be really awesome. And yeah, I guess just a huge thank you to everyone who stuck around, everyone who joined today, everyone who liked, everyone who subscribed, all that. It was very awesome. A huge pleasure to have you guys here, and I really hope to see you guys again. So I guess I'll leave it there. Have a good night, dudes.